Hello my lovelies, welcome back to another episode of McCall Media TV, whereby in today's episode I'm just going to talk to you really quickly about the need and the way and how to basically set yourself up with a WordPress website holding page and the reason why you might want to do this. So if you haven't been on one of my channels before, or one of my videos I should say, please do subscribe, stay notified. I'm going to show you my socials now so you know how to find me. Okay, cool. So if you haven't, please do subscribe, stay notified, and we're going to crack on straight away with today's video. So the first thing, that if you've watched the recent video that I've done on how to install your theme, it's because I have a genuine need for my own business right now, because I have just launched a second YouTube channel. So I'm just really going to be really quickly just show you why and how, so you get the background information. So just in case you're somebody out there that has wanted to tinker yourself, I am launching a channel that teaches kids, because of the age of my girls just coming up to that age where they're going to be able to sort of embrace this kind of thing now. But I'm teaching kids and adults how to code through mobile app game development. I know, a bit random, but this is how I roll. So if you haven't already, I will be putting the link in the description below so that you guys can basically go and find that channel and have a tinker. But as you can see, I've literally only published one video yesterday morning. So that's the reasons why. Anyway, today's topic is all about having a holding page. So this is a page that I've just done. Literally, it took me about 15 minutes to do a couple of weeks ago for my business client, Andy Deeks, who runs the DKS group. One of the facets of his business is basically business coaching, and the Peacock Effect is one of his new clients. So as part of sort of this partnership kind of branding thing that we've got going on between us, he gives me some really cool business coaching advice, by the way. Do go check him out. Again, I'll put a link below for you guys. But basically, the Peacock Effect is an up-and-coming website that they will be launching sometime, as you can see, in 2021, which I will be dealing with. But for now, because they wanted all their social media sites up and running and they didn't want to change things on their business cards and all that kind of jazz, it helps to have the website at least existing, even if you're not using it, right at the start. So give yourself a chance to get all your ducks in a row, get your thoughts. As a new business, you can just put yourself a holding page, which is exactly what we've done for this particular client, and what we're going to actually do today for our point and click puzzle games. So obviously, whilst I'm building these tutorials for you guys on YouTube, it's going to take me a couple of days to actually build a website, whereby if I was just doing this, I could probably bang it out in an afternoon. And so therefore I'm going to want to have a holding page, because my channel, my YouTube channel, is live, and I don't want members of the public coming and finding my site in this kind of half-built, what's going on kind of situation. So I need a holding page. You guys are going to need a holding page, I'm sure, because it, like me, it'll probably take you a couple of days, possibly a couple of weeks, to get all your ducks in a row and get your site just the way you want it, so you can at least let it go live. So I am going to dive on in to my WordPress admin panel. I'm already logged in. I am going to go down to plugins, and I'm going to look for installed plugins. Now, this gives us the option up here to add a new one. Real quickly, if you've not followed any of my other videos, and I have done one on how to select your plugins before, which again I will put in the link below, but essentially what we've got here is a couple of plugins that are already activated, like this WP Forms Lite. If you remember on my last video, I showed you why and how, and also the demo importer. But we are going to look for a new plugin today. Now, if you think of plugins, plugins are essentially a whole toolkit on a particular task that a company has decided to design and make available for you to use. And again, just like there is a theme that you can have the light versions and the paid versions, they generally start by giving you access to a free version that you can then upgrade, and that's how the companies that create these plugins and these themes earn their money. Now, we want a maintenance page style plugin, so let's have a look. I can't spell, look at those, there we go. All right, so we've got lots and lots of different options. In fact, we've got 31 pages and 1006 different choices right now, so that's quite overwhelming. Now, I can already see straight off the cuff here the plugin that I'm going to use, because it's the one I always use. And whilst you find a tool that works for you, I suggest you stay and stick with it, because obviously you know it's safe and it's not going to corrupt or break your website. But if we just quickly scan on down, you can see that these companies, one way or another, and that's only page 1. Oh, you can't see because I'm in the way, 10 seconds. So if you look down here in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that there is 1,006 options. We're only on page 1 of 31, and so we could go and go and go and go and look for these plugins, and all of these plugins have one way or another something connected to the word maintenance. Now, before we go and install our plugin, little things that are giving us clues on this very first page. First of all, down here there's this little grey box. It's telling us how long ago the plugin was last updated. 4 weeks ago, 14 hours ago. This one was 4 days ago. I would not touch anything generally as a rule that is older than 6 months, because it means that the developers have launched it and forgotten about it. Okay, they could really be busy, they could have their fingers in lots of pies doing lots of other things, but WordPress itself as a tool is always updating, and if they haven't updated anything for about 6 months, WordPress itself could have changed, and something then could have then changed that environment to break that plugin. And if they've not got their eye on the ball and they haven't updated it recently, then things start to break and you won't know why as a website designer, because you know, 1 minute was working and 1 minute it's not. And so I always suggest to you, keep your eye on how updated these plugins are. So anything older than 6 months I just wouldn't touch. The next thing is this little green tick. Let me see if I can, there we go. Next is this little green tick. I'm trying to highlight it, it's not working, there we go. And it's telling me quite nicely that this is compatible with my version of WordPress, which is also good. If we scroll down and you give me a second, there we go. There's one that's saying, although it was updated 4 months ago, it's untested with my current version of WordPress. Again, big red alarm going off in my head, don't touch that plugin, purely because if I upload it and I haven't got a backup in place on my website, I could basically screw my website, all that hard work, and sometimes it's just easier to delete everything and start again. It depends how far down that journey and path you've gone. If you are quite far down, say for example you install this plugin and your site's been up for like 2 or 3 years and you've got hundreds of blog articles, the other thing that you need to do is then yell for help for a developer, because they have somehow got to go back and investigate all those files and undo what you've done, and that can be really costly, because it could be a couple of hours work, it could be a couple of weeks work, it could be a couple of months off and on, as they then communicate back and forth with developers to see, and the owners. So just as a rule, save yourself huge amounts of cost, time, energy and hassle by just sticking with things that are all giving us green lights and green ticks. And even then, make sure you've done a backup first. Now, my site has only been up and running for the last 20 minutes and there is no content on it. So if I screw up my site right now, I really don't care, because it's going to be like a cup of tea and I'll reload everything and start afresh. But if I was doing this, I would be following my own advice and running a backup, which is going to be covered in one of the next few tutorials that I'm going to do, because you're going to need to know how to install a backup program, etc. Anyway, right now, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to select this one here called Maintenance with this big old guy with a big cheesy white grin. It's got 400,000 plus active installations, which is quite a nice little recommendation. This one's got over 1 million. The only reason I'm not using this is purely because this is the one that I started working with years ago, and it's the one I always work with. I know it, I understand it, and it does what it says on the tin. So that's why, but you're quite welcome to obviously go and explore. Some of these have got far more. This one's got 700,000 installations, and so on and so on and so on. So I am just gonna click on the install button, and if you haven't already, just watch for my other tutorial. Again, I'll put the link below. Because I have a whole section on how to find out more about plugins, who's made them, what you can do, etc, etc. But for now, I'm going to click on install. It'll only take a second. She says, there we go, lovely, job done. Right, so I can now activate that, and if I hadn't done it from here, I could go into the plugins and it would be part of my list, which I'll show you in just a second. And there we go. So it's now activated and sent me back to this plugin page here. Ironically, even though I've only just in the last 20 minutes, it was on the last video, installed WP Forms, there is actually an update. So this is how you learn about things that constantly get changed and updated. That plugin that we've just done is now activated, so I can get rid of that message, and I will do updates on another tutorial for you. But essentially what we've got going down here, there is our maintenance plugin. We've got some settings. We can go and still find out about the developers of this plugin if we need to contact them, so there's some links there. And if we look down in this bottom left hand corner, we also now have a maintenance tab. Now before we go diving in, I am literally just going to go into settings, because sometimes it's just handy just to refresh your mind and see what's going on. Now we're going to basically work with this right now. The maintenance is on. There's no point me trying to show it to you right now because I am logged in. WordPress thinks, oh, you're going to want to do some work on the website. Let's show you the website. So what I actually need to do right now in order to demonstrate this to you is I actually need to open a different browser, or you could have worked in incognito mode. So I'm just going to bring over Chrome onto my screen. Okay, and I am just going to, let me just come back here. I'm going to copy my URL and I'm going to bring Chrome back up and I'm going to paste and go. And what will happen now is you will see the holding page in full swing. Now this is the default settings for the holding page, and as you can see, it's really not doing us a lot of favours. It's doing its job, stopping people seeing a half-built website, but it's not relevant to my point and click puzzle games business whatsoever. So we're going to customise it. So we are going to go back to this page here. So I'm on the maintenance on the left hand side. As you can see, the big old green button is on, which is nice. That means we can keep tabbing back and forth between Chrome and Firefox. And we are going to start tweaking some of these things here right now. So let me get rid of that message. We'll deal with that another day. Okay, I'm in the very, very top left corner of my screen. I've just taken my brand logos off so you can see, but if I hold my cursor over the tab, you can see now where this information is being populated. So it's telling us the site is undergoing maintenance and the name of the website. So if I just minimize that and come back to this page, that is where that site is under maintenance, or is in maintenance mode. So what we're going to do here, this is maintenance mode is on here. So if you look carefully, you can see the text. So this one, first of all, is the page title itself, which is up here in this top left corner. So we're going to change that, and I'm actually going to call it point and click puzzle games, because I believe when you are in a environment like this, you actually want to know what the website is, which is more meaningful to us as humans. So I'm going to just save that and refresh now so that I can show you how that's changed. So let's go back to Chrome and hit refresh. And there you go, you can see that the name of the tab, which is the name of my website, has changed, and also I've got a much more meaningful name for my page as well. So that's that first one changed. Right, so next, maintenance mode is on. I don't like that, so I'm going to say website coming, oh, let's put a capital C, or coming, or under construction, coming soon in August 2020. Now I think it's about the 11th or 12th of August as I film this. Literally within the week this site will be up as I film these tutorials and this task becomes done. So I'm just going to save again so that you can see how I make each of these changes and how it affects the page. There we go. Now we've got a nice big message, so our viewers to this website instantly know what's going on. So we're going to change this little message down here right now. So in this case, this is why if I come back to the peacock effect, there we go. This is why in this case I basically I've put the logo in down here. There is a reason for that, but essentially I've given a little message, the email address, and because they've asked me to launch some of their social media profiles, I've done that, and I will show you guys in another video how to create these little icons. But for now we just want to get the page up and running. So you can put whatever you want on here, but this isn't your website, so I would suggest you don't spend hours and hours and hours developing this. You just literally want to give people a clue on how to find more about you. So maybe your phone number, your business address, your email address, maybe if you've got a Facebook page or something like that, you can put a link in there as well. For me, as my business, this is a second avenue of my business, sorry, there we go. I'm just going to say this business is owned by McCall Media Limited, and therefore go and visit my other website, my main website, if you want to learn more about me. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I've got my little message. Now I want to make my McCall Media Limited a link to my actual website. So I'm going to click on this little link above it, and I'm literally going to go HTTPS, because mine is a secure site, www.mccall.media, and I'm going to click on this little cog because I'm gonna, and this is just something that I always do, I am gonna open in a new tab because I am sending traffic away from this website to an external website. Doesn't matter that that other external website is still my own. It's good practice, because if you're going to spend money on adverts, getting people to your website, although at the moment this is only a holding page, you don't essentially want to send that traffic away, never see them again. So if you have to link to other things, which is a good practice to do, just make sure that you always do external links in a new tab, and that would basically force the new tab to open up here, and we're going to try that in just a second to see it work. So let's just save where we're at the moment, and we're going to go over to Chrome. We're going to refresh the page. This message down here is going to change now. There we go. And as that tab is going to open in a new window, look up here in the top left corner. So I'm going to click on this now. We're opening up a new tab. So we're keeping this website open, so the traffic can always find its way back to us. Our viewers can always find us still, but we have now sent them to the other website, which is essentially what I've done. So that could have been the same principle, whether it was a Facebook page, a LinkedIn page, a YouTube channel, whatever it is that you want to do. So we know that link is working, but let's face it, we still have no logos on here, and we don't like this background image. So let's come back over, and I'm just going to skip on down a little bit now to speed this up. But we've got a background image, which I'm just going to turn off. And we have down here background color. I'm just going to put white, just so that you can see how quick and easy it is for the settings. Obviously we don't want white text on a white background, so let's make our text black to make it nice and easy. If we look on our Chrome over here, we've got this little padlock, which we don't necessarily want to show, because when you click on it, it gives people the ability to log it in. I know how to find the website with the /WP admin process, so this we're going to hide as well. So let's go back, and where were we? We are going to login block background is black, so that's why this is all black down here. But we're going to turn that off. Enable front-end login, that's it. We're going to uncheck that. That stops this whole thing even showing, and this padlock. And then we're going to save our changes, and we are going to refresh. So this should now go on a white background. This padlock process should disappear. There we go. Now it is a white background. Something that this particular plugin does is puts like kind of a grey kind of overlay over the site. So I will show you that maybe in another video on how to remove it. But essentially we're now starting to work with something that's a little bit more friendly for us. And all I'm going to do now is stick my logo on here, which obviously is already designed because I have launched my channel. There's my logo. It's a transparent PNG, which if you aren't familiar with, basically means I can put the image on any background and it's not going to have a big old square box around it. I'm just going to save the changes, and then I'm going to refresh. And there we go. So now that we've actually got a logo, we can change the name out, and that's where we're at. So I'm going to leave it there for the moment as a very, very basic holding page. You've now got enough food for fuel, as it were, to think about how you could go and change this and customize it a little bit. Like I said, depending how long this page is going to be in existence, if you're just going to want to buy yourself a couple of days, don't go too hardcore, because it's just not worth it. You're going to actually put the website there, and this might just be enough. So in the meantime, while anybody is out there using my YouTube channel with my one video, if they do decide to come and check out my website, at least they've got something that they know they're in the right place, that it's a professional page, that it's not half built, half written, half whatever, and they know because of my logo that they've got that connection and so forth. And then hopefully they'll come back in a couple of days. So that's it from me today. I hope that makes a lot more sense. I'll be covering some other bits on this whole WordPress development in the next video, because what I really want to do is remove this holding page and actually put in some very basic one-page style content there, just so that I can build things up over time. So that's it from me. My name's Angela McCall. Thank you very much for watching today's video. This was McCall Media TV. Be sure to tune into both my YouTube channels, and I'll see you very soon.